So what happens when a massive WNBA star steps into a completely different sport and ends up getting more attention there than she ever did in her own league? That's exactly what went down with Caitlin Clark at the RSM Classic. She didn't just show up, she stole the entire show.
Okay. So did you put snaps in here?
Yeah. You guys want to get out here and hit it hard?
So Caitlin Clark is playing golf again. She is playing in, she played in another pro-am, and as expected, you know, Caitlin Clark golf is the most relevant thing in women's basketball.
But here's the thing, while golf fans and legends were cheering her on her own WNBA, peers not so much. They weren't exactly thrilled. So, is this just jealousy? Or is there something deeper going on? Let's break it all down.
Continue to work the camera back.
Caitlin's playing in pro-ams right now.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I'm a big fan of Caitlin Clark, obviously, being a women's sport, and there's not a lot that this young woman cannot do. This is her second shot into the par 4 13.
All right, let's get into it. Caitlin Clark has been making major waves for years. She was the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, known for those impossible deep threes and leading her team like a veteran. But her rise hasn't always been smooth. Her competitiveness and confidence haven't been fully embraced, even inside her own league. So she enters the RSM Classic not just as an athlete, but as a hooper looking for a challenge and some fun. For Caitlin, golf is her escape, and she didn't just show up. She played incredibly well, teaming with Ryder Cup captain Zach Johnson and PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan. She wasn't your typical amateur either, hitting 270-yard drives, staying locked in, and charming everyone there. Even when she messed up, like that first drive into the water, she just reset and kept going. That resilience is what sets her apart. But here's the wild part: while the golf world celebrated her, the WNBA, complete silence. No congratulations, no social media mentions, nothing. And it wasn't by accident, it was a clear choice. For people who haven't been paying close attention, this might seem strange, but anyone following her career knows Caitlin Clark has often been treated like a disruptor, someone who doesn't fit the WNBA's usual narrative. At the RSM Classic, she wasn't just smashing golf shots, she was connecting with fans non-stop. People lined up for autographs, kids looked up to her, parents thanked her for being a real role model. Even Zach Johnson's daughter wanted a picture. These weren't just cute moments, this was a masterclass in brand building. Caitlin wasn't just having fun with her fanbase, she was building bridges between sports and proving women athletes can shine beyond their main arena. Meanwhile, tension started bubbling in the WNBA. Ambiguous tweets began popping up from accounts tied to certain players, things like "stay in your lane" or "funny how some people get all the attention." These weren't random shots. Caitlin's rising spotlight was clearly rubbing some people the wrong way. This isn't the first time she's faced pushback. Early on, people whispered that she needed to tone it down because she came off too arrogant. Critics attacked her confidence. Even though male athletes get praised for the exact same thing, Caitlin usually ignored it, kept leading her team, and played her game. But this time the criticism felt different. It wasn't about her basketball skills, it was about her stepping outside the sport and still succeeding. Now look at how the golf world reacted. PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan couldn't stop praising her, calling her transcendent, a word rarely used even for pros. Zach Johnson, a legend, said she was a rare breed and highlighted her humility as her biggest strength. These are seasoned pros admiring not just her game, but her character. And maybe the biggest moment, when the crowd at the RSM Classic started chanting Caitlin Clark, a basketball star, was becoming the face of a golf event. That's insane. Meanwhile, the WNBA stayed completely silent. They had a huge opportunity to celebrate her crossover impact, but they let it slip. Some say it's jealousy, others say she doesn't fit the league's preferred image. Either way, the lack of support was obvious. She was boosting visibility for women's sports and her own league, yet they couldn't even send a simple congrats on social media. Golf fans went wild, praising Caitlin for breaking stereotypes and bringing new audiences to the sport. WNBA fans were split. Some said she was elevating the league, others claimed She was overshadowing teammates and chasing the spotlight, classic tall poppy syndrome. When someone stands out too much, people rush to cut them down, but Caitlin didn't seem fazed in her post-round interview. She addressed the criticism calmly. She said, "I'm just here to enjoy myself and improve." She called golf a challenging but refreshing escape and said she was grateful for the opportunity. Her message was simple but powerful. She's not trying to win anyone over. She's just playing for herself. This mindset is what makes Caitlin so real and captivating. She doesn't get caught up in the noise. She stays locked in on her goals, whether she's smashing a 270-yard drive or draining a deep three. She's chasing her passion on her own terms. That kind of confidence is rare, especially in a world where athletes are constantly pressured to fit a mold. Even LPGA stars jumped in, saying they'd love to see Caitlin play more. Fans called her a breath of fresh air, praising her for bridging the gap between golf and basketball. This huge wave of support stood in sharp contrast to the WNBA's indifference. Let's be honest, the WNBA's silence isn't just disappointing, it's revealing. It shows a league that still struggles to market its players and can't seem to embrace one of its brightest stars. Caitlin's rise through her own achievements only highlights those weaknesses instead of celebrating her. The league and a few players chose to keep their distance, a completely wasted opportunity. But Caitlin doesn't need the WNBA's approval. Her performance speaks louder than their silence. At the RSM Classic, she wasn't just playing golf, she was inspiring a whole new generation of young fans who had never even watched a WNBA game before. Their parents, longtime golfers, suddenly wanted to know more about her basketball career. Caitlin Clark was building a bridge the WNBA never managed to build. And despite some backlash from WNBA players, her star only grew stronger. She wasn't just a hooper or a golfer, she was becoming a true trailblazer. While her critics tried to drag her down, Caitlin stayed focused on what mattered, enjoying the journey and inspiring others. So what's next for Caitlin Clark and the WNBA? Will the league finally embrace her success? Or will politics and jealousy keep getting in the way? And what about golf? Could we see her in more pro events or something even bigger? One thing is crystal clear, Caitlin Clark isn't waiting for anyone's approval. She's carving her own path, and everyone is watching. The WNBA's silence isn't just a message, it's a choice. While she's earning recognition as a rising golf star, her own league has chosen to ignore her achievements, and some players are even taking cheap shots. But here's the wild part, the hate only makes her fan base grow stronger. Now, let's talk about the fallout, the fan reactions, the impact on her future. When she wrapped up her incredible run at the RSM Classic, she probably never imagined it would spark this much drama. It was supposed to be a fun break, a chance to show her competitive side in a different sport. Instead of being celebrated, Caitlin found herself in the middle of a growing conflict. Those subtle jabs from WNBA players, they got louder after her impressive showing. One well-known athlete even tweeted, "Golf fans, she's not that good, so relax. I said something because I'm tired of people hyping mediocrity just because they like her personality." While these weren't random trolls, these were her peers, people who know how tough it is to succeed at the highest level, but instead of uplifting her, they chose to cut her down. Meanwhile, the golf world responded in a completely different way. Supporters couldn't stop praising her calmness, natural talent, and ability to connect. PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan put it perfectly: what she brings to the game is transcendent. It's more than skill, it's heart, humility, and the kind of competitive fire sports need more of. This wasn't shallow praise, it was genuine respect for someone who stepped out of her comfort zone and absolutely delivered. But while Caitlin was winning fans in one world, she was losing support in another. The WNBA's refusal to acknowledge her success became impossible to ignore. She's one of their biggest stars, someone pushing women's sports into new territory, yet the league couldn't even post a simple congratulations. That silence said everything, and fans noticed. Debates exploded. Online supporters argued she was elevating women's sports. Critics accused her of overshadowing teammates and chasing attention, but Caitlin wasn't trying to outshine anyone. She was following her passion, and in the process bringing positive spotlight to herself and her league. Treating her success as a threat said far more about her detractors than about her. One outspoken WNBA player even rolled her eyes during a press conference when asked about Caitlin's RSM Classic performance. "We should focus on the players who are truly helping the league grow," she said. "Golf won't fill seats at our games." Harsh, yes, but it also exposed a deeper insecurity. Caitlin's rising popularity was quietly exposing the WNBA's struggles to truly promote its stars, and instead of addressing those issues, some players were simply venting their frustration at her. Meanwhile, Caitlin kept responding with nothing but grace in interviews. She stayed positive, focusing on her love for golf and the pure joy it gave her. "I just enjoy having fun competing and challenging myself," she said after one round. Sports are meant to bring people together, and she was doing exactly that. Her humility and authenticity only made fans love her more, and the crossover appeal was unbelievable. At the RSM Classic, families lined up just to meet her. Young girls looked to her for inspiration, and even seasoned golfers were drawn to her charm. From her 270-yard drives to her interactions with fans, her moments were getting millions of views. She wasn't just a basketball star or a golfer. She was becoming a true cultural phenomenon in both worlds.